Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 426 for November 19th, 2023. My name is Nathan Reetin Spruth, and joining me this week we have Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
I'm here. I definitely wasn't typing during the intro. Wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Wasn't me forgetting what podcast number we were on and looking that up while the intro was going on. Definitely wouldn't do that.
Furious Googling.
Yes. And that's it. Aroa can't make it today because he said he is emotionally drained today.
I get it. I'd be emotionally drained having to do the Reetin Entertainment Podcast too.
Yeah, or taking care of a sick cat. One or the other. He did one or the other. And so he's not feeling great, so he's not here today, and that's all right. But you can shout us out. Where can you find all of us?
You could find me, you could find you could find Aroa's details at aroa.website, AROAH.website. Some of those relevant social media links I'd like to draw your attention to. Now that I say that, it's not social media, it's just links. One of those is Clinton's Core Classics, Rise of the Runelords First Edition Actual Play Podcast. If you are into Pathfinder and fantasy and stuff like that, you'll love it. If you're not, and like Cyberpunk's more your thing, then you should definitely check out Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition Actual Play Podcast. I work hard on it.
Yes. The only person that does is you. I have so much karma I have to spend, and I keep forgetting to look up things to spend karma on.
That sounds like something you should do in your downtime. Not your character's downtime, your downtime.
Yes, exactly. And you can find me, Nathan Reetin Spruth, obviously Aroa.website, but the big one is I'm on Twitch Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I probably won't be there this week on Thursday because that's Thanksgiving, and apparently my mom's in town, so I have to go and have dinner with my family, and then my mom's going to try talking about politics, and then I'm going to get mad because she's really not good at politics.
So I'm like 90% sure I'm doing Thanksgiving alone this year. And I had this opinion in my head that I was like, I don't actually, like, I'm not going to get a bird and cook it just for me.
Why not? Do it.
Because that's, A, that's a lot of fucking food. B, that's a lot of fucking work.
It is. It's not that much work, but yeah, it's a lot of sitting around with the turkey in the oven, and then like every hour or two you baste it, and then that's it.
So I'll probably do a non-traditional Thanksgiving this year, and that's okay with me.
You're going to go to 7-Eleven. I've done that before. Who the heck is calling me? No. Nobody, people calling me while I'm podcasting. Why? Why do people
really do at all?
Yeah, at all. And I'm like, what? My phone is ringing. You're invited to go to my sister's house if you want. That's a long drive.
But a little out of my way. A little out of my neck of the woods.
Yeah. But I'm probably going to get our good friend Durga. He lives a town over from me, and I'm going to probably pick him up and take him to my sister's house because his family is 3 hours away, and figured he could come spend the day with us. So he can also get annoyed by my mom talking about politics. And it'll be great fun. So I'm going to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday streaming this week. Speaking of streaming, you don't do it, but this is the only segue I could think of. What games did you play this week?
That was a good segue.
Thanks.
Let's talk about the easy ones first. I've been playing a little bit of Halo Infinite. It's not a good game, but like, it's Halo.
I think it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's not. It's
fine.
It's okay. Like, it's not bad. I wouldn't
still
say
can't choose your colors, and you still can't choose the game mode you want to play, which are two, I would feel like, basic, pivotal things. But hey, it's Halo, whatever.
Yeah, you should be able to at least pick, like, I want to do objectives, or I want to do deathmatch.
I gotta tell you, the number one thing I hate, my game mode, my go-to game mode is Big Team Battle or something called Husky Raid, which is sort of like Griff Ball, kind of. I guess it's actually nothing like that. You get random weapons and it's capture the flag. That's what it is.
Okay.
But if I'm doing a big team mode, and like you mentioned earlier, I want to do objectives. Objective-based gameplay is my forte. I don't want to do Slayer. And if you're just doing a playlist that they've made, half of the time, if not more, you're getting some sort of Slayer.
Yeah.
And it
I
makes me
don't
not want
mind.
to play.
I don't mind Slayer, but yeah, I think that they should do different map or different types. You should be able to choose what you're playing. But I wonder if part of that is there's not enough player base to have separate modes like that.
Maybe at first. I don't think that's an issue anymore. It's going through a little bit of a renaissance right now. It's had a massive player base.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you play anything else this week?
Yeah, I got a couple more games to mention. First of these is Yakuza Like a Dragon, which I beat. We started about 1 minute early, or 1 minute late, that is, because I was sitting through the billions of endings this game has.
It's a good game.
It's a good game. I recommend it. I think by the end of it, I was a little bit like, I'm ready to do anything but another combat. Oh no, it's another combat.
Yeah, and especially once you get towards the end of the game, because you're just mowing through enemies, and it's not fun once you get to the point where like you just take out the enemies in one hit, which is one thing I admire about Earthbound is it'll just like transition into, it'll show the screen and then be like, you got an experience point, have fun.
I love that Earthbound does that, and for the fact that it's the 20-plus-year-old game, I can't think of another one that's been that smart about it. Like, I love Earthbound because it respects my time, even when it's making me stand in a waterfall for 3 minutes.
Yes. So did you enjoy it? You had fun?
I would
playing?
recommend it. I don't care for like fighting games, so I think this is probably the only Yakuza game I'm gonna end up playing, unless of course they do another one like this.
I think they will. I think that they are planning on doing it's not Yakuza anymore, but I don't know what they're going to call it because it's now the series is called Like a Dragon. So is it going to be Like a Dragon 2?
I think I heard it was Ishin or something like that. I'm not the person to ask about this. I'm like 3 or 4 levels detached from anything I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
But as far as this one that I played, love it. It's got classes, it's got RPG elements. Honestly, it's wholesome. This game is so bursting from the seams with wholesomeness sometimes that it makes me feel good to play it.
So there is a Like a Dragon Ishin, Ishin, Ishin.
But I think that's actually more traditional fighting game style.
That is. I know that they are making a Like a Dragon 2. Like the same JRPG type of game. They also just came out with a new one called Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, which is another fighting one.
I wish I liked fighting games more because I feel like I could get into this series in a big way just because of how delightful it is sometimes.
It's a really good game series from what I understand. Again, I've only played, like you, the Like a Dragon game all the way through, so I'm not the best judge of them. Unfortunately, one of our good pals who hasn't been on here in a while, Earl, loves the Yakuza series.
I could see why.
Yeah, he's a huge fan. So it would be nice if he would join us again and we could pick his brain. But I haven't heard from him in a while. He's been like every once in a while he'll pop up in like my Facebook feed or something like that and comment on something I post. But that's about it.
By the way, I exist.
Yeah, I'm not dead. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That's good.
Did you play anything else? So we've got,
yes,
what was it?
I got one final thing to mention here.
Okay.
Which is I got me one of the MetaQuests a while ago, a fancy VR headset.
Yeah.
And I, for the most part, have been trying to use this thing for not video games. Like, I want to use it as a monitor I could take anywhere, basically. However, I saw a lot of pretty phenomenal reviews for the Assassin's Creed Nexus game, which is a VR Assassin's Creed. It's super good. I am blown away by the hardware being able to handle all this. Like every time I start up a new mission on it, I'm like, oh, it's a VR experience. I feel like I'm in a hallway and people are reacting to me under very constrained limits. And then the game's like, no, you can just go free, go do whatever you want, have fun. It's like, oh, The free running feels good. The climbing feels good. Although it's not like an Assassin's Creed experience where you can just basically walk up to anything and start climbing, which is probably for the better.
I would love it if, as you were climbing up normally, your guy just turned around and jumped in the opposite direction.
The true experience. No, when you're leaping on like second floors and stuff like that while you're climbing, you have to like throw yourself up. It's like, I mean, obviously not like climbing a real building, but it's kind of exhausting.
I love that because you're really tall.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to not gorilla tag up my house while playing this game, but I'm definitely going to play it some more.
Just put your head into like a ceiling fan.
What's going on, first floor?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Uh, but that's fun. I haven't used my VR headset in such a long time. I want to, but there's a lot of stuff in my living room and I have no space. It's not very helpful to playing VR when you have zero space available.
You should make some space.
I'm trying to, but there's a couch behind me and I can't really move it at the moment.
Just throw it the couch. It'll be fine.
You have no idea how many times I've thought about that. It's the games I played this week. On Monday, I played some of that there Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PS5. Great game. I ended up beating it. And for the first time ever, I actually did a 100% run of it.
Neat. I heard it's kind of a short game.
It took me about 19 hours. So, yeah, not super short, but okay. And this has to be one of the complaints I have about the game is just the controls. And they're fine. They function, but because it's it's a PlayStation, it has limited number of buttons on it. With playing the game, I want to switch to the Batman Arkham setup. And I believe, I could be wrong, but it's just muscle memory at this point. When you're going to like parry an attack in Arkham, you press the Y or the triangle button. Is that correct? Am I thinking correctly?
Y sounds right for the PS5 controller. That'd be triangle. Yeah, that sounds right. Did they mix it up or something like that?
Yeah, so triangle is like your web attack. So like you web your enemy and you pull them towards you, or you jump towards the enemy using the webs. And the parry button is L1. And so for the longest time, I'm playing the game and like it's like parry this attack, and I would just instinctively press Y triangle instead of L1. Just a little bit of a nitpick there.
I think that's fair. Can you change the mapping conveniently? One thing I do hear about this game is it's incredibly accessibility friendly.
I never even checked. I didn't even look at that. I was busy playing the game, and I just ended up getting used to it eventually. Now, next time I go back to a Batman game, I'm going to be very confused.
I've been kind of thinking about them Batman games again. Like, I didn't love them, but it's kind of like junk food. It sure was satisfying.
Was it Arkham Knight is the one with the car?
That was the one where I really jumped off the series hardcore. I got very, this is what we're doing now kind of vibes out of it.
Yeah, I got that for free on Epic Game Store, and I played it last year, I believe, and it wasn't very good. I did not enjoy it very much. I liked the first and second game quite a bit, though. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, those were really good. I also one funny cutscene in the Spider-Man game. I don't know if I spoke about it last week. There's a scene where Venom goes to attack Spider-Man, and Mary Jane jumps in front of him and takes the hit. And I'm just like, but what are you doing? Mary, you're the not superpowered one. And you're like, no, must save Spider-Man. Dumbass.
And I'm assuming, but not confirming, that this is at a time where Mary Jane Watson knows who Peter Parker is.
Yeah. This entire game, Mary Jane knows who Spider-Man is.
I think I remember her knowing in the first one. So, what the fuck, MJ?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, they're standing there in the house talking, and Venom comes in and is like, I'm going to kill you, and like attacks Spider-Man, and Mary Jane's like, no, I must take the hit. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that. And then Mary Jane dies. She doesn't actually die in the game, but it's good. It's a good game. There's something called the EMF. It's called Emily May Foundation or something like that. And there's a bunch of quests in the game, to do like these little projects around the different districts. And there's one that you have to complete after the game is done to 100% the game. And I actually stayed up and did that, which is something I've never done. So I 100% of the game, but I did not platinum it because in order to platinum it, you have to play it on the harder difficulties. And the hardest difficulty doesn't unlock until you beat it. So I'm definitely not going to get the platinum, but I did get 100% of the stuff done in the normal gameplay session.
Does it let you do a new game plus or anything?
I believe it does, but I'm not sure.
Kind of suck to make you go through the entire game again and not have that option.
Yeah. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it, just because I suck at going back to video games. I hate feeling underpowered. Like I've already done all this. I should have more power. So that's part of the reason I hate like creating alternate characters in MMOs. Because I'm like, oh good, I've already been through all of this stuff. Why am I doing it again?
I hear you. That's a problem that I have with the Metroid games sometimes.
Metroid or some of the Castlevania games, like the Metroidvania
That's a good
games.
example, yeah.
Because especially like God of War is the one that kills me. Like, because you get all the way through the game, you're super powerful, and the next game they're just like, oh no, Zeus took your power away. Now you gotta do it again.
Now there's an even bigger threat. What the fuck is this, Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what other games did I play? Starfield. I played Starfield. It's all right. I had fun with it. I got. You ever play Fallout 4? You played Fallout 4.
Of course.
I always found myself struggling to find like adhesive in Fallout 4.
Yeah, I had a couple of settlements that were specifically adhesive farms. Put those, I'm going to call them villagers. Put those people to work.
And guess what I struggle with getting in Starfield?
Is it adhesive?
It's adhesive.
Unfortunately, I don't think you could put people to work in the same way.
No. Well, actually, you can create outposts and like harvest different animals that give you adhesive.
Grind up the horses.
Yeah, exactly. However, there's a mission I did, and in the mission, you're like infiltrating what's called the Crimson Fleet, which is like the bad guys of the game, like the pirates. And you go on your first mission there, and they're like, all right, this is an information gathering thing. I don't want you to collect loot or anything like that. And then we're going through and we're killing the animal life that is like cropping up from under the ground, and they drop adhesive. And so I was like, fuck you, I'm taking all the loot. That's what I'm doing.
The thing about what you said is it no longer meets my needs.
Yeah. The thing about what you said is I got 75 adhesive off this quest, so I'm pretty happy about it. But
Did you have to grind them up yourself?
You kill them and then you
it's just loot. I know.
Loot their corpses. Yeah. And then the other game I played, finally was able to sit down with a couple friends, and we failed on a lot of missions in Payday 3.
Were you trying to do stealth?
We were trying to do stealth.
I think that's the problem. I don't think you guys are very stealthy.
Yeah. I try. I'm really good at the stealth in Payday 2. Like I could do missions all by myself. Like I could rob a bank all by myself. Half of that was murdering the civilians, but I was able to get, get through some missions without getting detected. It's just Payday 3 adds different layers on that we need to get used to. Maybe I could convince you to play Oh wait, you don't have Payday 3.
That's true. I don't have Payday 3
because you don't have Game Pass.
I'm sure it'll eventually go on sale for like $2.99.
I'm sure in a month it'll go on sale for like $10 or something. Because it's Christmas. So they'll probably
Crimbus. Yeah, it'll probably go on sale for the holidays.
Yeah, we'll see. It might drop down to $20.
They have to make their money back.
They do. Actually, they've said that they had a rough start, but they have made money off of it. So I don't know if part of that's to do with Microsoft having them on Game Pass.
Maybe.
Just
I don't really know how that pays out, or if it's like a Netflix kind of situation or whatever.
I think that it's a lump sum that they give you when you first get on there, and then maybe a percentage of stuff. But again, yeah, I'm not too caught up on that. Anyway, we're going to transition and talk about some news stories. The first two are about cars,
Beep beep.
because if there's one thing you know about Connor and I, we love cars.
Oh yeah, we pop the hood and we talk about the engine and the oil. We're not car people by like any means.
No, no. But we are going to talk about the Cybertruck. I hate it. I hate the Cybertruck. It's so stupid.
The only thing I don't like about it is that it has that piece of shit Elon Musk's name attached to it, and that's not enough of a reason for me to just dislike something on merit.
No, it's not even. I hate the look of it. I
Whatever.
just like it. I hate the look of it, and I hate that there's so many people who are like, "Oh my god, it looks awesome," and I'm
I
just
don't think
like,
it looks
no,
awesome. It looks different. Different's okay.
yeah, but I have been told. I have a coworker who really loves Elon Musk in general, very very big Elon Musk
Weird.
simp, but also loves anything Tesla. To the point where he has said he will never buy another car other than a Tesla. And they're very, very interested in the Cybertruck. And the Cybertruck, Elon Musk at one point came out and said, "Hey, the Cybertruck, our lowest end model is gonna be get 300 to 400 miles of range and be $40,000." Turns out that now people are getting the phone calls to say, "Hey, you can pre-order your Cybertruck now. It'll be $98,000, a little over that $40,000 mark there."
That's upsettingly high.
Apparently that's the more expensive trim, like the most expensive trim, but still, I don't see it going for $40,000. But another thing that they're doing is that if you do want to buy it, you have to basically sign a waiver that says if you resell it in the first year, you have to pay $50,000 extra to Tesla.
That's dumb.
It's so stupid.
It's greedy.
Yeah, it says Tesla has added a section to its motor vehicle purchase agreement titled "For Cybertruck Only" that requires users to agree not to sell or otherwise attempt to sell the vehicle within the first year following its delivery date. This is from TechSpot. Any buyers who decide to ignore the warning may find Tesla seeking injunctive relief to prevent the transfer of title of the Cybertruck. The company also demands damages from the seller in the amount of $50,000 or the value received as consideration for the sale or transfer, whichever is greater. So, with the wording of that, it's at least $50,000. But let's say I buy a Cybertruck because I get super high because I'm in Oregon and I'm like, I'll buy a Cybertruck. And then I sell it to Connor and Connor pays me $70,000 for it. Then from the wording here, it sounds like I would have to pay Tesla that $70,000.
Because if I didn't buy it for $70,000 from you, I was definitely going to buy it for $70,000 from them.
Yeah,
which
totally.
Is what it seems to imply.
Yeah, who cares? It's if you own anything. If you buy, if I go and I buy a Tesla, flat out, like I obviously can't afford to pay $30,000 to $40,000 or $50,000 for a vehicle, but let's say I did, and I spent $50,000 on a Cybertruck, and then I should own that truck. I should be able to do whatever the heck I want with that truck, including selling it to Connor.
Yeah, I don't see how they get away with being able to control point of sale like that. And it also is a little bit revealing in the sense that there's very obviously some sort of priority. They want to control the distribution of these things.
Yeah, like
Is
I
Go
could
on.
understand if it was still on loan, right? Say you can't transfer the loan to somebody else. I could kind of get that because Tesla at that point still owns the truck. I could also understand, like, if it's a lease, you can say, no, they don't qualify, you can't transfer the lease over to them. But to say you bought the truck or Cybertruck, you paid for it with your hard-earned cash, and you can't sell it for a year, that's all sorts of fucked up. And I don't know how that would pass legal muster. I'm sure it does. I'm sure that there's no way you could take them to court and actually, win on that. But I still don't understand how that could even be legal. But that's just
It's
me.
it's the agreement that you're signing in order to get their service, I guess. But I feel like the right move is just to let the service die. Then
Yeah,
don't buy Cybertrucks, not because they're cool vehicles, but because their company's owned by a.
megalomaniac.
I have no kind words.
Yeah, I think it would have been best for Elon Musk to just do what he was doing in 2015 and 2016. He was kind of flying under the radar. He was going out and he was doing like those Steve Jobs-esque presentations. And I think he should have just stuck with that and not really gone on social media or anything. And then we would probably have kinder thoughts about him. But once he started like getting on social media and doing podcast interviews and showing who he really who he truly is, especially recently. I don't know if you saw that support of Nazi tweet he did, but anyway, I think if he would have just like kept more of a low profile, we'd probably have kinder things to say about him and Tesla. But at the moment, I don't. And even if, because the Cybertruck was announced and shown off before all of the stuff with Elon Musk, like buying Twitter and being crazy and stuff. The Cybertruck, I always just thought it looked terrible. I don't know.
It looks different. Whatever.
It does, but it's ugly in my opinion. They could have done a better design, but whatever. We're gonna move on to another car thing because apparently we love cars this week. Amazon is teaming up with Hyundai to sell cars on Amazon.com.
My only question is, do they deliver it in the car itself, or does it come in like a box?
What it says in all the articles I read is that they will team up with Hyundai dealerships near you, and you could see cars that are available on that dealership.
Yeah, it looks like it. But that would be a lot more fun having somebody like open the back of their ultra wide truck with a dolly hauling
Yeah.
this big ass car to you. Obviously, I'm being farcical here, but teehee.
I'm excited for when IKEA starts selling cars.
Or who makes those little teeny ones like the ones that were advertised with the hamsters? Are those Kias?
Probably Kias.
Let's say Kia.
Sure.
Again, we're not car people.
No. There are some cars that I like, and most of them are goofy. Have you ever heard of the K cars?
Those are the ones that are like the micro trucks, right?
They are kind of. They're a classification of car in Japan that are like city vehicles. So they're made to drive around on Japanese streets in the cities. So they're super small. They can only have like 26 horsepower. And they have like a bunch of requirements, but because if they meet those requirements, then those companies would get subsidies from the government. So they were incentivized to make it, and they made all these tiny little K cars, which are they're fantastic. They're just like tiny vans that only have 26 horsepower, or like they made one that looked like a sports car that had like gold wing doors. But again, super tiny. You would not be able to fit in them. I'd be fine. But the The only car I was looking at buying, I did I say it on the podcast? I know I told you privately that I was looking at getting the Hyundai Ioniq 6.
I think we were just talking about. I think we were on your stream when we were talking about that. Actually,
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm not able to buy any. I'm not able to buy the one I want. The one I want, if I were to buy an electric car, it'd be the Hyundai Ioniq 6 rear-wheel drive long range, because that can get up to, theoretically, 361 miles on a charge. While that's not available, because there are 0 of the rear-wheel drive versions of the Ioniq 6 in Oregon. Like, just none. All of the ones that are available are the all-wheel drive, which drops the range from like 361 to like 300. And I couldn't do that because I drive like 700 miles sometimes in like a day and a half.
yeah, I get you.
But I do like that Hyundai is teaming up with like, I don't like Amazon, but whatever. Like, I like that there's more options available to buying cars rather than going to the dealership. And making it easier for consumers to buy cars is always a good thing. Do you think other companies are going to join and start selling their cars on Amazon?
I could see it happening, but I also think that I kind of like with streaming. I guess I could foresee there being a renaissance of buy your cars online. Like, I know they're doing the Carvana thing. I know they're doing I think you could even buy like cars and stuff on eBay nowadays. But if Amazon goes, okay, we are going to try to make automotives a serious distribution, I would actually, I imagine I would see people be like, well, hell, we could do that ourselves. And then Ford has one, and then Toyota has one, and within 5 years they all flop, and then Amazon purchases them.
Oh yeah, does the online model, like, instead of not purchasing them.
Yeah, correct. Not purchases the rights to distribute them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, so part of the reason why they haven't really done this is because of dealership laws in the United States. A lot of times, states will have laws built in that say, like, in order to buy a new car, you have to go to a dealership.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's really dumb. And so, like, Ford has run into that issue where they can't really sell their trucks online. They have the F-150 Lightning, which is their electric vehicle model of the F-150, which gets, I think, 200 to 300 miles, like 250 to 300 miles range, something like that. And it's like $50 to $60,000, I want to say. And dealerships are marking it up to over $100,000, and Ford can't really do anything about it. They can't force the dealerships to sell at MSRP.
That seems like the exact sort of thing that making a law that forces you to sell through a licensed space like this would be there to prevent.
Yeah. No, yeah. And Ford can't sell their cars online because of the laws that are there with dealerships and stuff, and the partnerships they have with dealerships. So they're running into a lot of those, and I know that Ford has come out saying that they want to start selling their cars online. The reason why things like Carvana can get away with it is Carvana mainly sells used cars, and used cars have a lot less restrictions when buying them online. So you don't have to, like, go to a dealership or whatnot to buy a used car. Anyway, yeah, hopefully. Oh, it says here. Oh, perfect. Last one. Amazon's deal with Hyundai neatly sidesteps this issue by ensuring that dealers remain a crucial part of the process. Most dealers allow customers to browse and buy cars through their own websites, but having Amazon as an additional platform with millions of daily customers is sure to help make the process even easier. So I guess that is part of how they're sidestepping that issue, is because you still have to go to the dealership. And if you buy a car that, let's say I was able to find a rear wheel drive long range Ioniq 6 and get it would be delivered to my dealership, and then I would go to pick it up. So I would still have to go through the dealership for financing and all that, which is, I don't like it, but whatever.
What's Amazon getting at that point other than, hey, we will pay to have this available to be to host these photos and a link?
I bet you that they get a percentage of the sale, like 1 or 2%, some or some, like they get $1,000 on the sale or something like that. I bet
All
you
this
it's
is going to
something like that.
do is make the prices of cars go up, and I'm not for that.
It may, but prices are already going up, and honestly, I could see it not really affecting the price that much. Like, I don't see Amazon taking 1% of the sale or a certain percentage of the sale. The dealership might just take that hit, and probably will just take that hit because they want to sell more cars. Because I
It will
don't,
be interesting to follow up on this in a couple of years or so to see. I
yeah.
can't see it working out too well, and I feel like it's just going to make the process of car buying more inconvenient on a monetary value.
Yeah, we'll see. I know that the Hyundai Ioniq 6 2024 is supposed to be about $3,100 less than the 2023 model. So that's cool. Because Hyundai said that there's better manufacturing right now, and so they were able to cut the cost by about $3,000, which is nice. Anyway, our last story has to do with sadness, but you've heard of the completionist, right?
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this podcast, actually, that's a lie. Some people listen to the podcast and have no idea about video games or technology. So hey, the completionist plays video games to completion. He actually, so I 100%ed the normal version of Spider-Man. I believe, like, I don't know if he's done it yet, but his whole thing is he will play and get everything and get a platinum trophy on pretty much every game that he plays. So, good YouTuber. I know Nick Lotus is a huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan of his. I've had some interaction with him, like at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. But he did a charity, and he's been doing this charity for nearly 10 years. That charity being raising money for dementia, because his mom died, a little over 10 years ago, because of dementia and just failing health. Well, turns out they haven't given that money to anyone. Like, it's just sitting in their bank account, which is weird.
Not good.
It's not a good look. So they do what's called, Indieland, is where they show off a bunch of independent games. They've gotten like celebrities to come on board and appear on camera. I know the big one I can think of is Jamie Lee Curtis was there. And they'll get celebrities and they'll be like, hey, we're raising money for this organization and we're partnered with this organization. And then it turns out they've never given that money to anyone. None of those organizations that they've mentioned, they've actually given money to.
It's not a good look when people have to be like, hey, didn't the Gerard Completionist Society donate money? And they're like, we haven't seen it.
Nope. So there's something called the Open Hand Foundation, which was founded by the completionist's father, Charles Khalil, in memory of his wife, Karen, with 2 A's. Anyway, and in which the YouTuber and his 4 siblings play an active role, according to the website. Not active enough, apparently. Currently, it has more than 600,000 donations in an untouched bank account that has no evidence of paying the money forward to organizations working against dementia. And it says here, this is from IGN, which, it's IGN. This comes despite the completionist, who boasts 1.63 million subscribers on YouTube, running yearly fundraising events called Indieland, in which online personalities and celebrities come together to raise money directly for the Open Hand Foundation. It says Indieland is a celebration of indie games with a mission to raise money for this charity for over a 30-hour span with a ton of developers, influencers, and pop culture icons dropping in for the cause. All proceeds earned during the event go to the Open Hand Foundation. Apparently, they go nowhere else. All proceeds go directly into Reeton's bank account.
I mean, things could be worse. The donations could be hitting the bank account, and then they could just be like, "Oh, and it's gone. Where'd it go? We don't have the receipts."
Yeah, they do say like I've there's two YouTubers, some ordinary gamers and Carl Jobst. They've actually looked at the tax statements and they've seen the operating expenses. You know, it's about $10,000 to $15,000 a year for operating expenses, which is fine. That makes sense. But other than that, the money hasn't been touched. They just haven't given it to anybody. So it's not like Gerard is pocketing the money, but it is not a great look to not give that money to anybody in a decade.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're saying that they were not able to find a company that they trust to give the money to for like dementia research. But if you can't find a reputable place in 10 years to do reputable dementia research, that's on you, man.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of these people who, if you reached out to the departments, they're like, "We would happily accept money. Yes, this is tax deductible."
Yeah.
I had the thought when I was reading this article from like, okay, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Maybe they were waiting for a larger sum to donate, but like you said, it's been a decade. Something's not smelling right here. Did it get forgotten about? At that point, it's negligence. Was it remembered about and they were just waiting? At that point, it's irresponsible.
Well, the completionist is claiming ignorance on it. He said, he did an interview. He said, I knew that the money was sitting at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. I was made aware in 2021 that the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's what got me personally involved to move it, and not 2021, last year, 2022. So I guess he's saying that he's trying to say in 2021 he found out. Or he started saying in 2021 was when he found out, and then he corrected himself, it looks like, and saying, oh no, it was actually in 2022 that I found out about it. But that's still over a year ago that you found out, and the money still hasn't moved.
It's just not a good look.
And he said, I assumed that it was all going to charity, and I assumed incorrectly. The completionist said again in 2023 stream that the Open Hand Foundation was contributing to various organizations. And apparently, so he said that in 2023, after he would have found out that the money hadn't been given to these organizations, that they were being given to these organizations. So not a good look. At the moment, from what I understand, Gerard has not come out and spoken publicly about this, which again is not a great look. But there's speculation that they're basically trying to get that money out to people. They're trying to make the donation before he makes his statement to try to make it seem better than what it is.
I feel like this is an instance where waiting to see how much damage control you could do overall is ultimately going to hurt you more than just being like, oh, that money hasn't been spent yet? Hold on. Click, click, click. Done.
Yeah, it's not a good look. And I think that it seems like what happened is that Gerard was raising money. And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying that he may have not known and was like, they started this foundation, they give money to it, but then they have somebody else run the foundation and do all the management part of it. Like yeah, we're going to give money to these organizations and stuff. And that Gerard was more hands off with that part. and didn't find out until 2022. But even so, why did you do another Indie Land in 2023 and say that you were giving money to these various charities, which you weren't?
Where's the money going, Gerard? Where's the money going?
Again,
Into a dead account's where it's going.
yeah. I'm like, I would be a little more upset about it if they were like, oh no, there's no money in those accounts, and they all went to like Gerard doing a bunch of blows so he could stay up and actually beat those games. Because he does beat, like, he completes a game in like 3 days. Like that's his schedule, is like he takes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to beat the game. And then like Thursday and Friday they write the script, and then like Saturday they film it or something like that. It's a crazy schedule where they basically do one game a week that they're completing all the way through. So I could understand if he's hands off with the organization, but also that being said,
we are
I
at
hope
the
that-
point where the onus is now on him to get this situation taken care of, and it's still not being taken care of.
Yeah, and since he's the public face of it, it might have been somebody else's screw up, but he's the one who's going to get all of the flack for it, because he's the one who's always on camera talking about it. I don't like it, but hopefully good things come of it, and we hear in a couple of weeks that, hey, they donated, $500-something thousand to this organization. Yay! Please don't unsubscribe from our YouTube account. We need the money. Which is probably what's going to happen. Anywho, do you have anything else to add before we end the show?
Nope. It's real easy to do the right thing in this part, and we'll see if it actually ends up being done.
Yeah.
Ball's in your court.
Yeah, Gerard. Do it, Gerard. I know
We're
you're
talking to you,
listening.
Gerard. We know you're listening.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Connor.
I was all you had.
You were all I had today. And I will be back next week after Thanksgiving. We can talk about what we ate for Thanksgiving, where Connor will talk about, he's like, I did make an entire turkey. I ate it.
The entire turkey. Like
Bones
my
and all.
jaw unhinged, and I ate it in one gulp.
Yes,
I need to go to the hospital.
You're playing, you're Kirby now. I just think of you as Kirby, and you're like, I turned into a turkey.
The superpower it gave me is a 14-hour nap.
Anyway, thank you for being here. We will be back next week. Goodbye.
Yeah, speaking of 14-hour nap, that sounds kind of nice.